welcome to the one and only entertainment headquarters. Oh, here's our Jake. So, this is the entertainment headquarters, and this is a month-long event and special on my channel. It is, of course, the month that is known as Fear the Wolf, the month of the vampire. And you cannot do this month without talking about a film that basically helped start this genre. And of course, we're talking about The Wolfman.
That's right. I don't have one to hold up.
The Wolfman. But before we get talking...
The month of the vampire.
Yes, the month of the vampire was last year. So joining us in the chat is our good friend, Mr. DJ Anubis. Woohoo! And excuse me, what he's saying, month of the vampire. Fuck vampires. How very dare you, sir? How very dare you? But that was last year's special. This year's is, of course, dedicated to the werewolves, which is very much loved by Anubis and a few people here. So, with that said, we have to talk about the Wolfman. So, Mr. Daniel Miller, when was the first time you heard of the Wolfman?
The first time I heard of the Wolfman was back in college, because in 2016 I was watching a YouTube channel called Cinemassacre, and he had a section called Monster Madness, and on there he went through the Universal classics from Dracula to Creature from the Black Lagoon, and that's how I found out about the Wolfman. The first time I actually watched it was toward the end of college when I went down to a HMV once upon a time, and I picked up a copy of the DVD. And of course, having heard of this film from Monster Madness, I went in there with moderate expectations, and seeing it for myself, wow, this is amazing.
It sure is. So, Mr. Anthony Jordan.
I was really young when I first saw it. It was around Halloween time, and it was like one of the channels. Obviously, it was one of their annual Halloween marathons, and they were doing Universal Monsters all month, and this one was my favorite. Mm-hmm. The movie's just amazing, and as I got older, I grew to appreciate it more and more, where when I was a kid, it was like, wow, cool monster. Now as an adult, I could just appreciate it for what a tragedy the story really is.
Very true. Jake Hall.
The first time I watched The Wolfman was actually not from the original, but I actually watched Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman. Was the first time I got introduced to the Wolfman. It was a long time ago. I was in I think it was Kmart, I think, back when we used to have it. And I saw this video that said Frankenstein Meets Wolfman on VHS. I was like, oh. And my parents got it for me, watched it, fell in love with it, loved it. And it wasn't until they released like the DVD sets of the complete collection is when I first watched the original Wolfman and enjoyed it ever since. And I love how for back at its time, the cinematography and how they did the transformation was awesome.
Yes. Mr. Tony of the Dead.
I really don't remember where I was the first time I saw this. I was probably younger, but I don't know. I really don't remember. Probably like on a Halloween sometime on like TV, probably. But yeah, I've always been a fan of like, werewolves and that. The only thing I don't like is that some of them don't have like, control over it and stuff, or they don't know what's going on, Man, like I wish you could have that power and know what you're doing.
I think, is it the movie Cursed? There's a werewolf and that at the end when it's revealed who the werewolf is. I'm sure that individual has control where she can transform herself into a werewolf, or if she doesn't have control, she at least is aware of what she's doing and who she is.
She can at least steer the werewolf.
Yeah, because otherwise she wouldn't have done this.
Yeah. Yes, that is very true. She gave the good old middle finger. As for myself, I think, like most times, I've seen this at my grandparents'. Cannot remember the year, cannot remember how old I am at the time, but I do remember enjoying it. And obviously that was, I'd always been obsessed with vampires. Obviously Bela Lugosi and, Dracula, but obviously Dracula was my first major horror character I was introduced to, but then I was introduced to, thanks to my grandparents, the world of Universal Monsters. It was after meeting Dracula that my granddad was like, there's more than him, there's other monsters. And next thing you know, I think the next one was Frankenstein, and I think then it was the Wolfman. And then I didn't watch The Invisible Man till many years later.
Right.
But, of course, being from 1941, of course, the Wolfman is one of the, the originals within the Universal Monsters, and one of the ones that definitely stands out for the whole of the right reasons. So let's get cracking and talk a little bit about it. So The Wolfman is a 1941 American Gothic horror film written by Kurt Seomark and produced by and directed by George Wagner. The film stars Lon Chaney Jr. in the title role, Claude Rains, Warren William, Ralph Bellamy, Patrick Knowles, Bela Lugosi, Evelyn Ankers, and Maria Ospensky. I've probably butchered that name. They star in support roles. The title character has had a great deal of influence on Hollywood's depiction of the legend of the werewolf. The film is the second Universal Pictures werewolf film, preceded 6 years earlier by the less commercially successful Werewolf of London in 1935. The film is one of Universal Monsters movies and garnered great acclaim for its production. After the movie's success, Lon Chaney Jr. would reprise his role as the Wolfman in 4 sequels, beginning with Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman in 1943. So quite a big history there with the Wolfman within the world of course, horror and Universal. We have Snarks and Sass has joined us. Welcome.
Hello.
Daniel Miller, would you like to start this one off for us?
Absolutely. Right. Okay. Right, so the film begins with the main character, Lawrence Talbot, played by Lon Chaney Jr., as he's being driven by a chauffeur through a small village toward his family's estate, that being the Talbot family estate. He arrives and we're introduced to his father, played by Claude Rains, who in 1931 played the main character in The Invisible Man, which I would highly recommend. We then learn that Larry has returned home after hearing about his brother's death during a tragic hunting accident. And just as this happens, we're then shown that a piece of a telescope has been brought in from overseas. We see him and his father fitting in the new piece in the telescope, and it works brilliantly. And it's here that Larry, as he's playing around with the telescope, meets the love interest of the movie, played by I'm going to say. Oh. Lost the name. Anyway. Oh, there, I lost the name. Yes, there they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Now, for some
is
reason-
that is, I believe, Gwen. There's that Gwen, so that was Evelyn Ankers who plays Gwen.
Yeah, let me just confirm.
Yes, it
I
is.
believe you're right. Yep.
Yeah, it is. Yep. IMDb. All right. So yeah, she is being watched by Larry with the telescope. Afterwards, he then goes down to the hello, Gojira. What's up?
Yo. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, she goes down. He then goes down to the jewelry, which is owned by Gwen's father, and then in there he basically jokes very creepily, like, "Oh, I'm a psychic. That's how I know about the earrings you have in your closet upstairs." I mean, of course, he doesn't actually get the earrings, but Gwen interests him in a series of canes. One of them has the silver cast of a werewolf on the top for the handle with a pentagram insignias on it, and it's here, which relates to a blurb from the introduction after the film's opening credits about werewolfism or lycanthropy, as it's described in the book, which is the turning of a human being physically transforming into a werewolf. And there's also a little rhyme or story that goes with this.
Mm-hmm.
Even a man who is pure of heart and says his prayers by night may become a wolf when the wolfbanes bloom and the autumn moon is bright.
Marvelous.
True.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's correct. And I believe, do we have an example of the cane in question?
I
The
don't
guy
have
above
it.
me.
It's not the cane, but that's why I got it.
Oh, I see. Yeah, pretty close. Pretty close. Yeah.
Can I tell you one thing that really surprised me? Like when I was reading Bela Lugosi was in this, because don't forget I watched this years ago as a kid, so I knew what he looked like when he did Dracula. So I was looking all over for him in this film. He's not even in the film. I did not realize this was Bela Lugosi.
Do you know what his name was in this? Bella.
Bella.
Yeah. It's literally the same spelling, just minus one L.
Yep.
Yes. But as the film progresses, obviously he's like there at the ancestral home, he's with his wealthy family, you know, all this is going on, and then they go to like the gypsy like carnival type thing, the caravans and that. And there's like all this, you know, they're talking about the werewolves and that. And this is where he goes out onto like, you know, he's heading to there, and there's like all this rustling, bustling going on where he meets the gypsy lady as well.
Maliva.
Maliva, that's right. Right. Do you want to talk about this a bit, Jake?
Sure. So Lawrence Talbot told the girl that she would meet her at 8:00 sharp. Ends up there, he's like, "Oh, Jenny." So this other girl comes out, and he's just like, "Oh man, I was hoping just to be with." And he's just like, she's like, "I hope you don't mind." So they end up grabbing each of his arms, and they go to the gypsy place, and the girl gets her palm read by Bella. Well, as soon as he reads the palm, you see the pentagram show up on her hand, and he's like, "You need to run. You need to go now." Unfortunately, not to get to a chopper, but anyway.
That's a different type.
So
That's a different type of movie.
yeah, I know. So after she runs, he starts feeling different as Lawrence Talbot is trying to hit on the girl. Next thing you know, you hear screaming, and they're like, well, what was that? Lawrence runs over and sees the girl being attacked by a wolf, which, you know, you just think, oh, it's just a wolf and all that. Well, he's attacking it. He gets bit by the wolf. Then he hammers it with the cane, all that. And then he ends up falling down. And then they carry him back to Talbot Manor, where the father and a doctor and the captain constable, I think, or general constable, whatever the damn dude's name is. I know I just recently watched this, but I can't remember the fucker's name.
Ooh, you're cursing, Mr. Jake Hall.
But
You're a
also-
bad influence.
Jake,
Kevin.
I'd also like to add, since you mentioned the wolf, that wolf was actually a stray German Shepherd that was on the back lot of Universal Studios, and Lon Chaney Jr. wound up adopting it.
That's
oh,
true.
interesting.
Oh,
Nice.
that's a nice fact to know.
That's cool. So once Lawrence Talbot wakes up and he's nice and healed, he doesn't understand. He's trying to tell him that I didn't kill a man, I killed a wolf.
Mhm.
Well, they found the body of Bella, who was actually the wolf. So they're questioning him, and he's just like, I know I killed a wolf and all that. Yes, I did, Anubis. I did. Just because I'm a little quiet doesn't mean I don't cuss nearly as much.
You've never
better
cussed in
watch
front
him.
of us at all.
I know. I
So-
try to be respectful most of the
Well,
time.
well, we're not fucking
that.
respectful. So don't
Anthony
talk and-
curses too sometimes.
Yes, he does.
Oh,
Yes,
no.
So, Anthony, do you want to take over from our lovely Jake Hall?
Well, after we had some of that back and forth, as Jake mentioned, he winds up at the funeral procession for Bela, and he's just racked with guilt. He knows he killed the wolf, but it's a man that's dead. And I do love this performance by Lon Chaney Jr. because he just sells this like grief and the PTSD very well, where you can tell he feels that weight on his shoulders. And he sees the priest arguing with Maleva, the gypsy woman, because they're, rather than mourning, they're celebrating, and that's their custom. But then she goes up to the casket and she gives her farewell. And if there's one line in this film that is more iconic than even a man who is pure of heart, it's this one here. The way you walked was thorny through no fault of your own, but as the rain enters the river, enters the sea, so tears run to a predestined end. You will have peace for eternity. And again, it's just phenomenal, the characterization in this. The character of Maneva too, she's just this very haunting yet wise character who knows he's cursed but tries to give him advice. She even like wants him to show the wound because she's trying to warn him that, okay, this curse is on you now. And then he ends up going to this fair. It's with Gwen and her fiance, and they have a little shooting game. His father's watching, and he's doing pretty good at shooting, but then the wolf pops up and he hesitates because of what happened. And this sequence here is what leads into the first transformation, which we actually don't see the face in the transformation in this film. And it was brilliant the way they did it, where they would do one type of makeup, take it off, add another type, and it would just done in a series of cross dissolves.
Yeah, even though this was made in the 1940s, I do like how they showed you like his transformation and like sequences. So you
Mhm.
see him sitting in the chair, and then you see him looking at his feet, and then you see the hairs on his legs, and then his legs start to change. Then you see him stand up, and all you see is the bottom of his legs, and his legs have changed shape, and he starts like walking, and then it shows you him in the forest. And when he's in the forest, you don't really get a good glimpse of him till he's near the tree. And then that's when you finally see him in all his glory as the Wolf Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
What's up,
Jack
how
Pierce did.
How great that forest looked, especially with the fog.
Oh, definitely.
And I also think
Definitely.
that Jack Pierce did an amazing job with the werewolf makeup in that scene as well.
Oh, definitely. And for them, that one a full glimpse of what he looked like. This is
Yeah.
like the amazing makeup, and obviously the lighting in that was done during this time, just phenomenal. Like back in the 1940s, like you see, there was no CGI, there's no big budget studios that were, they work with what they had practically.
Yeah.
And
And
back,
even the practical makeup, now you would go and they would take molds and they would pre-make appliances. And Jack Pierce didn't do that. You would sit in the chair and it could take up to 12 or more hours because he'd just do it one layer at a time. There were times Lon Chaney Jr. would just sleep with the makeup on because taking it off was more strenuous than having it put on.
yes,
I also liked how they had him walking on his hind legs too, like the tippy toe looking, like more natural.
well, yeah. So, like I say,
And then they
like
did it in the 2009 one or 2010 one as well. They kept that, so I thought that was good.
oh, definitely. So it's like, and then after he does transform into the wolf, this is where he kills his first victim, which is like the guy in the graveyard. And, he's standing there innocently, you hear the howl, and then he kind of just walks over him and just slowly attacks him. And then the very next day, you see Talbot wakes up and he looks like, me after 4 bottles of wine.
Right now, but I'm not gonna.
He gets up and he staggers around looking like shit. Like what the hell's happened? And then everyone in the village is going crazy because there's been another wolf attack. And obviously, as the plot progresses, you see the distraughtness in his face and like kind of understanding that, this might be some truth behind this whole curse thing, because very much like right at the beginning, like his dad and like everybody else, he's kind of he was like questioning all this magic and the gypsies and curses and all of these things, and then suddenly when all this stuff starts to happen, he then starts to doubt himself, and like you say, he has like this mental anguish throughout the course of the plot, because he's like, he knows something's going on, but is it true or it isn't true? And then when he becomes the werewolf himself, the wolf man, and people are dying, he starts to see, the curse in full effect and how it's now a part of him.
That's right.
And the scenes that Lon Chaney played, the acting, I thought was fantastic.
Yeah.
Like the acting where he went from being like right at the beginning where he was kind of like his father, like this aristocrat, this arrogant kind of man. Then he meets this girl in the village and he thinks he can just, steal her away from her fiance because he's got money, he's got kind of power, he's got like a title establishment. And then the second part of the movie, he's like going through this mental torture. And where before he would be like his father, very arrogant, and basically say things like, "Oh, what poppycock about this curse," and all of this, the gypsies, they're just after our money or whatever. But then it turns round where he was the one doing all the doubting. He now is the one that is convinced he is this wolf man, and he's now trying to convince his father and all his father's friends that he is the wolf man and all this is going down. And this is where he goes to Gwen and he's like, Jenny, and he's like trying to convince her that he is the wolf man and that he doesn't want to hurt her and doesn't want to be around her. And then he goes to his family and his friends and they don't believe him and they think he's having some sort of mental disorder.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, you really believe the grief he's portraying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that's what I like about Lon Chaney's performance in this, the switch. Because he switches from being like this arrogant a-hole to now the one you now grow sympathy for.
Yep. And he even asked both his father and the doctor if they both believed in the werewolf. And both of them answered with a similar answer that I believe that whatever is in the person's head is what comes out. But Lawrence Talbot, thinks otherwise. And he believes that he became a werewolf, which his father and the doctors think not.
Mm-hmm.
You're asking if a man can physically transform into a wolf? No, it's fantastic. However, I believe anything can happen to a man, but only within his own imagination.
Yeah. And I like the character of what was the name of the Egyptian?
Maleva.
Like I like how she's like in the next movie. What we're going to talk about, the remake, the 2010 remake. She doesn't really have a strong presence in that. They kind of change things up a bit in the remake. But I like her character in this, how she's like a guide to him.
Yeah.
She's like guiding him through the curse. Like, you are now the one who was cursed, and this is now upon you. And she's now trying to help him. And there's that scene where he's the werewolf and he wanders off into the night. And she's there, and for one split minute, she transforms him back into human form. And she's having conversations with him, trying to help him and trying to help him understand what he's going through. And so I really enjoyed her character in this. And then we go back to his father, who totally is oblivious of it all and thinks he's going through some sort of curse, so some sort of mental breakdown. And then, like you mentioned, he says, I am the werewolf. I killed Bella. I killed the villager. They're trying to like hide the fact that they think he's lost his mind and could be going through sort of mental breakdown. And he might have done these things, which would be murder, and because they've got reputations in establishment, they're not trying to hide what he's done for the right reason. They're doing it to protect themselves. It's very selfish, right, what they do. And this is where he decides he's going to leave town. And as he leaves, he finds the pentagram on his hand, which I think is very important because it like highlights the curse in like a more symbolistic way.
Yeah. It's interesting how he like sees the next victim on a hand. Just so happens it's the one you're touching, but
What I like, even though, the father's doing it in a selfish way, you still believe he does care for his son, and it's established that there was something that strained their relationship in the past, and you two do kind of see here what presumably strayed it, because why he does care, he shows he cares in the wrong way.
Yeah. And the ending of the movie becomes quite sad as well, because his father decides to tie him to a chair to kind of convince him you are not the werewolf. This is all a delusion. I'm going to prove that it's a delusion. I'll tie you to the chair. I'll put you next to the bedroom window where you can see the moors, you can see this moonlight. And his father wanders out. And there's a group of men with shotguns, both normal bullets, and there's no silver bullet. And his father goes out there, and his father, I think, bumps into Gwen and bumps into the gypsy lady, and he suddenly, obviously, Talbot transforms into the Wolfman and escapes and goes out there, and nobody recognizes him. Nobody knows he's the Wolfman. And this is where tragedy strikes, where the Wolfman goes to attack Gwen, and suddenly the father has to attack the wolf, and it turns out he bludgeons him to death with the silver end of his skewer. What's that called?
The cane.
Yeah, the cane.
Because Lawrence asked his father to take the cane, just take the cane, and he kept saying, "Please, please take the cane." So he took the cane, and then, like you said, he was beating him with it. And then as soon as he finished hitting him, as the gypsy Maliva is standing right next to him, he sees the change, and then his eyes just like,
What I love too is, like, leading up to that, Claude Rains plays it really well, where you can see the what if is starting to creep into his mind, and he's starting to believe it.
Yeah.
yeah.
What's also great in this is the soundtrack, and not just for this scene, but for the film as a whole. I mean, Hans J. Sattler. I'll just bring up the composers of this for a second, because there were 3 composers on this movie.
Yeah. Danny Elfman clearly took inspiration when he wrote the Batman score.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's clear after Lawrence escapes the trap and goes to the jewelry store toward the end of the film. Yeah, Charles Previn, Hans J. Salter, who would afterwards work on other Universal creatures like Creature from the Black Lagoon, among others, and Frank Skinner. All 3 of them did wonderful compositions in this film, especially the string motif where Maliva says the ancient verse, which turns Larry back into a wolf after he's dead. It's just a perfect piece of music, in my opinion.
That's the thing, even back then in the 1940s, the writers and the creators and, the artistry in these movies still, for me, stands the test of time. Like you say, it's not just the special effects or the story or the imagery on screen. The music helps tell the story.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's also one interesting thing to think about with this movie. Keep in mind, this movie came out in 1941. The writer was European and Jewish, and the Wolfman's victims are marked with a star.
Yes.
But that's just some food for thought there.
Yes, definitely. It's a lot of imagery and symbolism throughout the course of this film. But brilliant movie. It's the original. It still, for me, holds up really well. Me and Daniel Miller did the original Dracula last year for Taste the Blood, the month of the vampire. And I said to him that even though I love the original Dracula, for me, Bram Stoker's Dracula by Francis Ford Coppola is a much better film. And the original doesn't hold up as well as I did. It's quite slow. It's slower than I remembered it. But what I can tell you about the original Wolfman, the 1941, is I think it's way better than Dracula. And I thoroughly still enjoy it to this day.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Daniel Miller, thoughts overall of the original Wolfman?
Overall, I rate the original very high. Everything from the script writing, the directing, the cast, the production design, and even right onto the scoring as well. It's just brilliant. The fog in the forest sets, it really does make you feel like you're actually in a forest rather than on a soundstage. The town, while it has been used in other movies like Frankenstein, among others, it's just wonderfully built, and it actually has moments where you're convinced that you're not standing on a soundstage on the back of Universal. You're actually in a town somewhere in Europe. Lon Chaney and Maria Ouspenskaya give great performances, as do the rest of the cast. Jack Pierce, he is one of the masters of monster makeup. The Wolfman, among Frankenstein and the Mummy and the others he worked on, are really good examples of this.
Definitely.
So, out of 10, if I were to give an out of 10 ranking, yep, I agree that they're Gojira. If I were to give this out of 10, I'd go very high and go for a 9. Solid 9 out of 10 for me.
Anthony Jordan?
Well, this, I'm kind of biased. This is my all-time favorite horror movie. From the set design, the writing, Jack Pierce's makeup, which without Jack Pierce, there would have been no Tom Savini. I'm just putting that out there now. The music, just how hauntingly tragic the film is, and like, your heart breaks for Lon Chaney Jr. in this. Your heart even breaks for Maleva when she's grieving her son. It's just such a great film from start to finish, and I can't give it anything less than a 10 out of 10.
Jake Hall.
Excuse me. Enjoyed this film. Lon Chaney did very well as the Wolfman, as he did throughout the Universal monsters, being Mummy, Dracula, and anything else. This film was good. Loved the story, loved the elements, loved the music, as Daniel mentioned. Loved the makeup designs and all that. I'm along with Anthony. I give it a 10 out of 10.
Marvelous. Mr. Tony of the Dead.
Well, in the past, I didn't really enjoy this that much. To be honest, I do think it's much better than Dracula. I think, of course, I have to rewatch that one again, but that one, from what I remember, was a drag. So I'm sure it's not going to be much of a change. But there are things, like Anthony says, that you're older, you can appreciate more with this movie. You know, how a pervert got a gorgeous girl who was already had a fiance is beyond me. Because, I mean, he did admit he was spying through her window at her, and she's like,
Yeah.
oh, well, yeah, well, you're the man for me. But whatever. I liked Claude Rains in this a lot. Especially, I like him more, obviously, than Anthony Hopkins' character. But I thought I honestly didn't really believe that he was his father, though. I feel like that. I just didn't believe. I don't know.
They look close in age.
Yeah. It's just like, it's thought, maybe it could be older brother who's short. But yeah, Claude Rains and no pun intended, seeing him in this movie was great.
Yeah.
The transformation is great. Forest, it's all good. I do think this was the best time I've watched it. My scores isn't going to be as high as you guys, but I still like it. I'd say it's like a 7.
Yes.
So,
I'm probably with you there. 7 out of 10. Like I say, me and Daniel reviewed the original Dracula. I'm very much like Tony. I had a vision of the original Dracula when I first watched it many years ago. And when I seen it last year or before we did a review, I was kind of disappointed because I didn't remember it as fondly as I did originally. But when it came to The Wolfman 1941, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was better than I originally remembered. So I've got a lot more respect for it than I did before. But let's move on to the second movie, because after the success of that movie, there's been many reboots. There's been many, reiterations of these movies. But here we are, heading to the year 2010, because we are going to talk about, for me, one of the best remakes that they've ever done of any film. And that, of course, is The Wolfman 2010, starring Benicio del Toro and Anthony Hopkins, Emily Blunt, and Hugo Weaving. Now, this film was, created by Joe Johnston. He did, I think the last thing he made up to that point, to my memory, was Jurassic Park 3. So, Jurassic Park 3 got a lot of flack when it first come out. Everyone's like, this is terrible compared to the first two. But if you go in with it, like, don't look at it too seriously, you can let it go, and it's a good popcorn flick. It's just a genuine good, dinosaur movie for what it is. And I recommend when you do see Primitive War, you go into that with the same mindset as Jurassic Park 3, and you'll have a good time, because I did. Yes. So just a little plug there. I do have my review of Primitive War on the channel if you want to check it out. But let's get cracking with the Wolfman 2010. The Wolfman is a 2010 American gothic horror film directed by Joe Johnston from a screenplay by Andy Kevin Walker. Dear itself, a remake of the 1941 film of the same name. It stars Benicio del Toro, who's also the producer, Anthony Hopkins, Emily Blunt, and Hugo Weaving. The film story follows an actor who, after his brother's brutal murder, returns from the United States to his ancestral homeland in England, where he gets bitten by a werewolf and is cursed to become one.
Yeah. What a talented cast.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
Every cast member was perfect in the roles that they were given. And this was a passion project of the lead actor, Benicio del Toro, who literally, he had been wanting to make this movie for years. He loves this movie. He loved the original, and he really wanted to make his own. And the great thing is, it's very much a faithful, respectable remake to the original, but it does have a few differences that make this one stand out, but I think for all the right reasons.
This one should really be taught in film school on how to do a remake, keep it true to the original while doing your own thing.
Yes.
Exactly right, Anthony. Exactly right.
Mm-hmm. So, Anthony, since you love this one, why don't you talk a bit about this one?
Well, I was living in a place at the time, and I couldn't see it when it came out in theater, and I was just like sore and burned up over it. I didn't get to see it till it was on cable in 2012, and it took me on just a great ride. I didn't go into it knowing what to expect. It took me to familiar territory, but it kept doing its own thing. And I'm like, even though the original's my favorite horror film of all time, and by the nature of that, I should hate the idea of a remake. I just wound up enjoying the ride, the direction they took for the film, the acting, even to this day, as old as this film is now. It's just so refreshing to see a horror film with a mature, talented cast instead of disposable young people where half of them can't act. And I kind of fell in love with it then, and as I've revisited it over the years, it's a film I grow more and gain more and more of an appreciation for. And I wasn't expecting it to also be a soft remake of Werewolf of London because of a twist we'll talk about later. That character's origins is ripped straight out of Werewolf of London. So this film was made with a great love for classic horror. And recommendation, next time any of you watch this film, go to your TV's color settings and switch it to black and white. It's a whole new viewing music experience, and I feel the movie's all the better for it.
I'm surprised they did they ever just release this as in black and white?
No, but I have a theory. I can't back it up with anything, but I think the director wanted to do it in black and white, but the studio mandated color, so he just shot it like he would a black and white movie because it has that such a, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but it has such a bleak color palette that you almost feel like it should be in black and white to begin with.
Like I just think Joe Johnson took the original and he basically just updated it. He took it and made it a more, modern special effects heavy version of the original, except there is a few plot differences. So like the Egyptian woman, so not the Egyptian, sorry, the Romanian gypsy, she doesn't have a presence really in this particular film. There's more emphasis on the father-son relationship, which, as you know, there is a huge reveal. Also, Talbot's character is an actor in this one, and it's obviously in the original they go to Wales. It's set in Wales, which is down the country. But this one's based in England and up, like, I guess, Yorkshire way, like in the Dale type area. And then you have that magnificent scene where, after everything goes down, he gets transported to London because they think he's got a mental illness, which lead to that great sequence in London where he transforms in the sanatorium and he kind of just goes batshit crazy as a Wolfman and rips people apart.
And you have a very obvious nod to American Werewolf in London with the double-decker bus.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it when he goes, "I'm gonna kill all of you," as he's tied up.
But like you mentioned, Anthony, the cast, Anthony Hopkins is perfect. Is the older Talbot, the father. He is just magnificent in this. It's one of my favourite roles he's done.
I agree.
Emily Blunt, fantastic. Now, even the change up with this character, Hugo Weaving, who plays the detective looking into the murders, he is phenomenal in this. And of course, you have the lead actor there.
Emily Blunt too, like, she brings so much maturity to this role that you wind up thinking she's significantly older than she really is.
I like the fact that she's not just like a damsel in distress type role. You know what I mean? She's not just acting like that. Oh, poor me. Oh, who's gonna rescue me from the monster? She's like, she doesn't come across that way in this, which is what I like. And of course, when you do get the Wolfman, he looks menacing.
Yeah. And surprisingly, this is one thing I like about the remake design. They haven't strayed too far away from the original design. All they've done is that they've only updated it slightly, but they've still kept it true to its core true to Jack Pierce's iteration.
Yes. There's just some amazing imagery there of the Wolfman and the 2010. But what do you think, Daniel, or anybody, about the differences in the plot? I think it enhanced the story.
Yeah, I also agree, especially with how it approaches the characters, because although in the original, we do get a hint of what Lawrence Talbot's was doing before he returned to his home, because he was working with telescopes in California. In this remake, it's made much clearer that he's more of a performer, an artist of theatre, which is an interesting take. And it's also a bit of irony in there that it's kind of fitting for a character who has a very tragic story and also an end to said tragic story. The detective himself, which I always associate with Agent Smith from The Matrix,
Mr. Anderson.
Yeah.
I know Anthony's mentioned it, but another thing I felt like was like American Werewolf in London is when he's when Hugo Weaving's police officer character goes to the pub for a pint, and the woman goes up to him. She's like asking him about the investigation into what's going on. She's like, "I'll have a pint of bitter, please."
Yeah.
It felt like the slaughtered lamb.
Yeah. I mean, this is the thing I like about this remake. It has all these nods and homages to all these other werewolf movies, and it's like they knew, and I love it all the more because of that. It's just such welcome additions, and the way that they're put into the movie, they feel so perfect, and there's not a single one that doesn't feel jarring, out of place, or tacked on. It all fits in seamlessly.
You don't feel like the film is telling you, hey, remember this movie you'd rather be watching?
Yes.
Yeah, I very much agree how it took influences from other inspirational Wolfman or werewolf particular movies, but then it still kept itself to the true material. So as Anthony said, as you said, you can see American Werewolf in London in this. You can see, elements of other, not just werewolf movies, but other movies that came after it. But then they've kept it grounded and they've kept it in the time period. They've kept it, within, the world that we love about this particular story and film within the world of the Wolfman.
And it's a nice bit of foreshadowing that when we get introduced to Talbot in this one, he's on stage playing Macbeth when his life is about to become a tragedy.
Yes. Yeah, that's the great thing about this and the original. They've both got tragic stories. And then obviously the big twist at the end of who the father is. So, I think obviously you do have gypsies in this, but the emphasis is all about the Talbot bloodline and how basically, in the original you had Bella, who was the original werewolf that transforms obviously Talbot into the werewolf. And it's all connected to the gypsies, where this one, it's all connected to the bloodline of the Talbots, where his older brother at the beginning of the movie is murdered. That's why he comes back to England by this unforeseen wolf character. And then, of course, it's revealed that the wolf man or werewolf that attacked his older brother was in fact his own father.
Yes.
And, when his father killed, but the difference is where Talbot, he is so, it's like you say, tragedy, going through mental turmoil, very much like the original film. He doesn't want to be this thing. He doesn't want to be this werewolf. He doesn't want to hurt people. where his father is the opposite. He's feeding into it. He's giving into the animalistic instincts. He's giving into, being this creature, this monster.
Changing the father-son relationship in this is what not only made this remake worthwhile, but made it its own thing.
Definitely.
I agree. And sorry, Kevin.
No, I was going to say it's like, and Anthony Hopkins was perfect as the role as the father. Like, how he can be like so smart and sophisticated. Then by the end, there's like a savageness to him.
And also, what's scarier than Hannibal Lecter? Hannibal Lecter is a werewolf.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. And I got that, especially since he was literally eating his own son, and then remembering that he was in Silence of the Lambs before this. There's just so much of this irony and poetic touch going on. It's just incredible. And also on the werewolf aspects, the special effects, it's a blend of CGI and practical costume and makeup. And this is what I like about this remake when it comes to how it handles the special effects. The CGI, it's not overplayed and it's not shown too much. I mean, if you look at it on like Blu-ray, or I don't know how it looks in 4K, but when they upscale CGI from 2010s, it doesn't age that well. But the filmmakers, they actually did the right thing by keeping the CGI to a minimum while having some practical elements in there. And the way that they've managed to balance the two effects out actually works, I think, for the better in this movie.
And if you switch your TV to black and white, the black and white is a lot more generous to the CGI. I want to add, did you catch the one shot when Anthony Hopkins is in mid-transformation and you see his face and it's almost the original makeup?
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
It's like the split second, but it's there.
Yes. But you said, like, talking about the special effects, I do like how, for example, you've mentioned how the good blend of CGI animation, but like with the original, you don't really get to see much of the Wolfman in terms of how he acts, like his behavior. You see him creeping around and you see him jump on people, but the great thing with this being an updated version, you do get to see when they transform, act like animals. You see the animalistic side of them come out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like you mentioned, when Anthony Hopkins is biting his own son and he's acting like a crazed animal, and you see like the mouth frothing and stuff like that. It really, pushes that, those elements and really makes you think, these people have changed from human beings to these wild animals.
And there's the whole man versus the beast thing. There's a nice symbolism in that with how they both die, where one dies the beast and the other reverts to human before dying.
Definitely.
That's true.
So I personally think this is definitely one of the best remakes I've ever seen.
And think it's only on Rotten Tomatoes. Critic is a 33%, audience is a 32%. What's wrong with these people?
Everything.
Yes. Well, before we do anything else, we need to mention this piece of shit.
Oh dear, no.
It's not that bad.
No.
I mean, it's just a different look at it.
I'll give you credit. I will give you credit, Tony. It is not Night Swim level shit.
No.
I didn't mind it.
Like you do have Cracker.
Oh my good God, no! Oh, So
It looks like Gollum on crack.
What is Gollum not on crack? Like,
it's not like crack, it's more
oh,
like
Gollum.
meth.
Now, this shocked me. I nearly punched my phone when Anthony sent me these.
What?
Did
So
you
for-
watch it? You watched it?
Yes, I did, but I chose not to review it
Hmm.
on purpose. So
It was okay. It wasn't great or anything, but it was just
Well-
another way to do it.
so that is the original. That is the Wolfman 2025 score. This is the 2010 score.
Well, that I
Rotten
don't agree.
Tomatoes, you are fucking a bunch of fucking dumbasses.
That's why you don't go on Rotten Tomatoes. They're stupid.
Professor looks like he wants to get drunk.
He's not.
I mean,
What
It's
if
already
I could,
Friday
if I
now.
could pass
I'm
this
not
through
smart.
the screen, I would hand it straight to you, Professor.
thank you,
Poor
Kevin. I would
professor.
gladly accept. I would gladly accept. I mean, first off, why? Just what? I mean, and second, of all the ways you could have gone about it, I mean, just no. My disappointment has gone to the point where I can't even finish a sentence about this version of the Wolfman. I just can't. I just can't. No.
It's okay, Daniel. Breathe. It's okay, Professor. Just breathe.
Well,
Well, Jake, at least
that's
you
me
have
answer.
in mind.
This is me answer.
I mean, no.
But yeah, I don't agree with that score about the 2010 one. Not at all.
Oh no, I don't
No.
even bother looking at scores. I don't even care about the scores.
No.
When I go see a movie, I go see a movie just to see it. And if I enjoy it, I enjoy it. If I don't, I don't. I don't give a damn about ratings. I don't.
Right.
I
don't care
remember
what.
before. I remember before the film even come out. I had seen the design at the Halloween Horror Night, and I sent Anthony the picture, and I just remember, who the fuck is that? He was in total shock with the look at the Wolfman. But it's got nothing compared to the 2010 version, which is a fearful remake. There's only one other modern type horror, Universal horror movies film that I have enjoyed. I like Bram Stoker's Dracula by Francis Ford Coppola. I like The Hollow Man, which was a different take on The Invisible Man with Kevin Bacon. And the last Invisible Man that came out a couple of years ago, I really enjoyed that.
Oh yeah, I enjoyed that one too, but I didn't care for Hollow Man nearly as much.
Mm-hmm. But this one, this remake for me is one of the near perfect remakes, and it's one of those remakes that actually, like I've mentioned, enhanced everything that the original had. It didn't even bother us that they didn't, feature the gypsy woman, because they did something different and it was done in such a great way. I'm just so disappointed that fans or the public just don't look at it the same way. But I feel like this has had the same treatment as, say, the last Voyage of the Demeter, which is another amazing vampire movie and another twist on the Dracula mythos.
I kind of had a feeling of like watching Sleepy Hollow too.
Another touch I love in this movie is how the first real shot we see of the movie is the moon coming through this dense, very old school looking forest.
Yeah.
And then after Hugo Weaving's character is bit, he looks up and you see almost the same shot in reverse going through the forest up to the moon.
I love the fact that they had that twist that they introduced this nuke, the police officer played by Hugo Weaving, and it's basically hinted he's going to carry on the curse and be the next werewolf.
Apparently, there was plans for a sequel where he would have been the Wolfman in the next movie, but he would have been hunting Jack the Ripper, which undoubtedly it would have been the Wolfman versus Jekyll and Hyde, which I would have been down for.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that.
I would have enjoyed that.
I would have loved to see the Guild Man return.
Same. Especially since you only had one revival in the 80s with the Monster Squad.
Yeah.
The only thing, if they did that sequel to this Wolfman, I can't see Hugo Weaving pulling it off the way Del Toro did. For me, I understand it was probably like something added to potentially become the next Wolfman. I would have liked to see them end it where, yes, he got bitten, but then the beginning of the sequel, you would see Hugo Weaving as the werewolf bite somebody else and get killed, and then another lead actor become this third werewolf to do the plot that you've mentioned. Because I just don't see him as the Wolfman, Hugo Weaving. So if you had done a sequel to this and Hugo Weaving wasn't the werewolf, who would you have cast as the second werewolf?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah.
I don't know, but for the role of Jekyll and Hyde, I probably would have cast Gary Oldman.
That's a good choice.
Gary Oldman, yes, that would have been. What about Russell Crowe? Because he, not as Dr. Jekyll and Hyde, but Russell Crowe as an older werewolf.
Well, I'll be honest, maybe not passing the curse on, but if they were to recast the character of Arbogast, I think I could see Russell Crowe fitting into it really well.
Yeah, I just see Russell Crowe because he reminds me of Lon Chaney in the original. And I think he would have been a great modern version of that version of the Wolfman at that time in 2010. So this is Anubis's pick.
Mads Mikkelsen.
Thank you, Mads Mikkelsen.
So this is an interesting one.
Was this in the extended cut by any chance?
No, there's two alternate endings on the Blu-ray.
One is where Emily Blunt's character actually dies and the Wolfman survives.
In the other, they both die.
Yes, I wouldn't have minded that if she died and he survived, because, like you say, it would have led to the sequel as well.
I don't think we needed her at all in this movie. Like, really?
Explain, Mister.
Like, I don't have anything against her. It's just, I don't know. I just don't see them together. Like, at least in the first one, like, he flirted with her a little, and she's engaged to like somebody he doesn't know. But this is like his brother's ex fiance, and it just, I don't know. She just doesn't really add anything to me. So that awkward moment on the steps when she's bringing down the stuff. I thought of Anthony at this part when he's just eating the apple and looking at her. I could totally see Anthony like doing that with a knife and just like eating an apple and just staring at you. Yeah, see? And
yep, there it is.
That is going to be Anthony when he's older. He's going to have the tiger robe. the deer legs like for his guns and stuff. Yeah.
But if
Sylvia
Emily
Lynn,
Blunt,
Instead of the tiger robe, it would be a trench coat.
the trench coat.
yeah. But if Emily Blunt were removed, as you say, Tony, that would be difficult because she's effectively the anchor for the human side of the story, for the humanity of Lawrence Talbot after he's given the curse of the werewolf.
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
Sir John pulling him towards the beast, in her pulling him towards the man.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think it makes the ending work the way it did, where Sir John died a beast, where she's the one that shot him, and she even has that moment where you see he recognizes her behind the beast. Then when she shoots him, he reverts back to being the man, and where his father died, the monster he was, he died the man he actually was.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yes.
And I will say this for this particular film, the gore effects were pretty amazing. Especially,
Yeah.
especially when Anthony Hopkins does the little two claws through the jaw of the constable. It's like, and then
Yeah, I like that bit when he first does his first transformation, and you've got the grave. He's in the grave, and then you just see him run towards the guy, and he's shooting him. And you just see the flashes like that.
And also,
And
we've seldom seen a cemetery that looked that good on film since the original Universal horror films.
Yeah, I love that. I love the beginning when he first has his first transformation, and there's the graveside and the police, and then you just see him slowly take them out. Like you've got that one that's standing at the tree, and next thing you know, you just see that and the blood splatter, and it's just phenomenal. The music, though, I think I prefer in the original.
Yeah. I mean, the soundtrack in this movie, it's too dark, so I can't find all there. But yeah, it's pretty good all around, I'd say.
It's still a good soundtrack, but there's something about the music from the original that, for me, just stands out.
You don't
it's by Danny Elfman
soundtrack as much.
Is it really?
Yeah, Danny Elfman scored the remake.
How about that?
That's a nice touch.
Wow.
When you just said that, you knew he got influence for the remake, and there it is.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he did say that.
I didn't know he wrote the music. That's crazy.
So that's another thing that shines out with this one as opposed to most modern remakes. You can tell a lot of the people there, both in front and behind of the camera, actually cared.
Definitely. Like I say, it's very... Most modern remake, they'll go, right, it's going to be a remake. Then they'll go, actually, no, it's a reboot. See, it's when I hear remake, I want it to be a faithful remake. But once I hear the word reboot, that's when my toes curl up. Because I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, they're going to take the original story and they're going to butcher the hell out of it. But if I hear remake or another version, like, for example, Del Toro... Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, this new trailers dropped for it the other day. That looks brilliant. It looks like a Frankenstein movie, like a Mary Shelley reinterpretation. It doesn't look like a remodernized version. It doesn't look like, a reboot. It looks like it's gonna be another faithful reimagination of Mary Shelley's book. And that's what I want. I don't want like Frankenstein. Like you've got that one with Christian Bale, The Bride. That looks fucking terrible. Hey, if you've not seen the trailer for The Bride with Christian Bale, it looks fucking terrible. It's like Bonnie and Clyde, but with Frankenstein. It looks. If you haven't checked the trailer out for that, I watched it and I thought, no, I'm not doing a trailer reaction for that piece of shit. And I like myself some Christian Bale. I love myself some Christian Bale in American Psycho. I love him as Batman, even though it sounds like someone's grabbing his nuts when he talks. I've got Gotham. I've got Gotham in the palm.
To me, I think like it sounds like he's been gargling with concrete and gunpowder for the better part of the decade.
Even though I love that shit, you know, it is him in Frankenstein and the Bride. It looks fucking terrible. I'm sorry, it does. It does. It looks horrendous. But Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein looks brilliant. And I'm very much looking forward to Robert Edgar's Werewolf which is coming out next December 2026. So we're having a kind of a reflux or a re-emergence of the werewolf films, because as you know, the vampire films have kind of dominated for a while since Twilight, or Twilight, as I like to call it. You know, we've had Nosferatu last year, we've had Abigail last year, which was fantastic. I actually preferred that over Nosferatu, not gonna lie. But now it's time for werewolves, you know, to be given the spotlight. It's so rightly deserved. And like I say, we had Werewolves 2024 last year, which was okay, nothing amazing, but okay, which we're going to talk about. But before we carry on, final thought on the remake of The Wolfman 2010, Daniel Miller.
Pretty good, very faithful remake all around, which in my book, that's a very high standard. I mean, if I were to have a list of good remakes, it would include John Carpenter's reinterpretation of The Thing and Tom Savini's version of Night of the Living Dead, along with the remake of Cape Fear, followed with the remake of The Wolfman. I put it up there with those top remakes of mine. Out of 10, I rate this a 9. Great cast, great performances from everyone all around, especially Anthony Hopkins. The script and the directing, brilliant. The soundtrack by Danny Elfman, it's good. It's not one of Danny Elfman, great composer, but I don't think this is one of his. It's not one of his most impactful scores, in my opinion. Like his scores for the first 2 Spider-Man movies, or for Beetlejuice, or for the original Batman movies, or from the 80s Batman movies. I mean, but it's serviceable. Production values, great. The CGI and practical effects, how they're married in this film, brilliant. That's all I have to say. Just very good remake all around. Wish there were some more like this.
It's very true. Mr. Anthony Jordan.
Well, the parrot a lot of things the professor said. Just a solid remake. I really love this one, and the original is my all-time favorite horror movie, so that alone says a lot. As far as the soundtrack, I agree, good but not great, but there's also 2 ways to apply a soundtrack to film. One is the soundtrack that enhances and pushes the movie, where this one, I feel like the soundtrack is meant to be more like wallpaper, where it adds something, but you just don't really notice it. So I'm not going to fault it for that, but listening to the music by itself, it's just good, not great, and you don't remember it like you do the original. The performance is great by everyone around, the cinematography, the chosen color palette for the movie. The only real problems I have with this movie are minor gripes that aren't even worth bringing up. 9 out of 10.
Nice.
Jake Hall.
Love the special effects. Love the designs for both Anthony Hopkins and Del Toro's Wolfman, one gray, one brown. Love all the scenery. Love the cinematography. Kind of like them. The score was okay. Love the gore. Love all the characters. They brought it. All in all, like with Daniel and Anthony, 9 out of 10.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Tony the Dead.
Well, this was the first time I've ever seen this. It's been on the list for a while, and I finally got to see
Wow.
it. Yeah, I was not expecting this movie. I was expecting the gore. I loved the gore was great. I loved the look of it. Like I said, it made me feel like it was like in the same universe of like Sleepy Hollow, which I love that gothic kind of feel to it. Like I love the little town. The shout outs, like you said, like Slaughter Lamb, I got that vibe too. Anthony fucking hit it right on the goddamn head with the soundtrack. Like that's the way he said that it's like wallpaper, and 100%. That's 100% what I was thinking. Like he described it like perfectly. If it was a debate, man, you would have won. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, it was really good. I think the only thing I would have a problem with is that it did feel like it was a long movie, but it was only 2 hours, but it felt long. But other than that, I really enjoyed it. I'd watch it again. And I do appreciate that they kept the look. I think that's probably one of my favorite looks of the Wolfman, to be honest. And it might be my actual favorite Wolfman movie now. So I'm gonna say also a 9 out of 10. I liked it a lot. I'm gonna buy this and I'm gonna watch it in black and white.
Well,
Thanks.
so you know, there's two versions of the film. There's one that's 1:40, and then there's the director's cut that's almost 2 hours.
Oh, that's the one I watched, and I watched it on Plex. So I saw the
That's cool.
2-hour one.
Well, I really like that you like this, Tony. Really, really happy that you like this. I love the big smile on his face. And fuck, we've got something you really, really just gravitated to and enjoyed.
I did.
So, as for me, guess what? It's a 10 out of 10. I have said this from day one. I've said this to Anthony off camera. This is one of my absolute all-time favorite remakes. It never gets old. Every time I watch it, I get sucked in to the world, to the environment, to the scenery, to the colors, to everything, the music score, the performances, the cast, the gore, everything. It's a 10 out of 10. One of the best remakes out there, and this, as Anthony said right at the beginning, needs to be studied to how you do a remake.
I second that.
Yes. So
Hear that, Hollywood bastards? Do it right.
For the professor to second that, for those of you that don't know him, he went to film school, so for him to say he seconds that really says something.
Yes, and since Nubis is in the chat, what would your score be? Let me know in the comments below what you would score this. Is it a favourite of yours? Are you not that keen on it? Ulven, if you want to chip in, if you've seen this movie, Gojira, give us your scores. But yes, this has been a lot of fun.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, just going to say
the one main difference I like too from the movies is that I like that he gets shot in this, and the way he turned back and everything, and he was like holding her hand and it turned. Well, on the other one, he gets beat with the cane. I hate that. Like this beast that can rip your head off, and he gets beaten with a cane. I don't like that. I know it's silver, but I just think that that's cheap. It's cheap. At least stab him.
Yeah.
What? Dan? What? I'm just kidding.
Well, this is probably me, but thinking back at it now, him getting shot at the end, good one, Anubis. Him getting shot at the end, that's now reminding me of the ending of the follow-up to Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman, where the doctor is planning a transfusion switching the brains around of Frankenstein's monster and the Wolfman. The Wolfman has fallen in love with a gypsy who learns a secret. She takes matters into his own hands and shoots him in the final act of that movie.
Only in that one, they both die.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. But this has been a lot of fun, and this has been the first stream of the month of the werewolf, Fear the Wolf. And it's been a good one to start with. I've thoroughly enjoyed this, especially that I'm in a fucking chair. I've got a backrest, and I'm not in any pain.
We got Olvin and Goji's ratings on here.
Oh, let's see.
Right.
Oh,
Let's have a look. Yeah, I was going to get to them. Let's have a look. 10 out of 10. Hey, what a surprise. It's another 10 out of 10.
The guy with the werewolf icon gave it a 10 out of 10. That's weird.
It's very weird, very strange. Would never have guessed.
No.
But what are the odds? 5 of us give it like 9 out of 10, and 3 give it 10 out of 10. Still high rating.
Very
Yeah.
high, better than fucking Rotten Tomatoes. You
Yeah.
bunch of bellends.
No, it's not called fresh tomatoes. It's rotten.
Mhm.
Everybody on there has a rotten
Yeah.
opinion. Aw.
So, before we go, we need to talk about everyone's channels. So, Mr. Daniel Miller, what is coming to your channel?
Now, I said this with Walter, Jedi Granville, during the Chronos and Threads and Day After discussions. I am currently scripting a retrospective for Aliens versus Predator, how it began as a comic, became a bunch of video games, then there were the movies, now there's the uncertain future. But I will say, I'll stress this, patience. Just do be patient. It's going to take some time. In the meantime, however, on my social media, I've done some short Halloween narrations, which are fitting since we're in the spooky month, which is something I've always been looking forward to every single year. So I'm very glad to be doing these little writings and just posting them around. So do keep tabs on all my socials, on whether you're following me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. So yeah, just keep your eyes and ears open.
I've watched one of his shorts, and it's really good. It's what we always tell him that we want him to do. And it's short, but it's great.
Thank you,
Yes.
Tony.
Yeah, the things that you've put up, amazing. Like, I was just listening. I could just fall asleep and listen to your voice. Because
Thank you, Kevin.
Soothing, not boring. Soothing.
Yeah, that's what I was going to just say. Not because you bore the living day, because it's such a relaxing. But I've told you what you need to do. You need to get a book, a famous book, a well-known book, and do your own, work on that, or write yourself your own stories and write them and do them on your own channel. And that top-notch stuff.
Yeah,
Thank
you
you,
got
Kevin.
amazing talent. You got amazing talent, man. And
And
hell,
if you,
even when you're doing something else, you may be a little creep sometimes in a good way, but you have an amazing talent, and you need to do something with that.
I never
I
thought that would come out of your mouth. He's a little creep.
I'll answer for you, Dan. I'll answer for you. Thanks, Jake.
Yeah. Seriously, thank you, though, Jake. I'll take it.
Your balls are getting bigger, Jake. I'll see you that. Your balls are getting bigger.
Yeah. Just make sure they don't get too fat, or else you might have medical complications.
Mhm.
Elephantitis.
What is coming
hell?
to Anthony Jordan's channel?
Well, right now, because of some errors with my computer being a jerk, I lost a couple of my reviews, so I'm re-editing my Phantasm 2 review. Like, I'm 95% done, but something just is off about it, and I'm not 100% happy with it yet. I got Montober continuing, and I also, the other week, I had recently got to see the work print cut of Rob Zombie's Halloween, which I do have more positive thoughts about that version, but it got the storytelling side of my brain thinking as to what I would do if I was the one to retell this story. And I'm working on a video where I wouldn't so much call it a pitch, but I just lay out where if I was the director hired to remake it, what changes I would make to the story.
Sounds fun. J. Cole, anything new coming to the collection, or is there anything you'd like to share?
Well, right now I'm doing my sci-fi horror watch month for the October. I'm currently been watching some of the classic Universal movies. I know tomorrow, if it's still happening, and it's supposed to be me, Anubis, and Omni, and we're supposed to be doing the review of Alien Earth tomorrow, hopefully. And other than that, I'm still working on covers for my folders for my kaiju comics that I have. I'm eventually going to pre-order another figure, but I'm kind of waiting a little bit. So, other than that, work.
Yes. Well, Mr. Tony of the Dead.
Well, we got Fear the Wolf tomorrow. Which ones are we watching tomorrow for that?
Bad Moon and Silver Bullet.
Bad Moon, Silver Bullet. That okay. Yeah, we got that tomorrow. On Saturday is the Dad Joke Off over on My Flock is Everywhere's channel. It's going to be I'm not sure who's all in, to be honest. I know me and Thrash are in it.
I was going to say Thrash should be in it.
And Tug, I think, is in it. I'm not sure. But that's going to be fun. Just telling dad jokes and that'll be interesting. And then, of course, I got Ghouls coming up next week. We are going to be sitting down talking about merch finally. We brought it up yesterday. So we're going to talk about that. So hopefully I'll be up soon. And then next Friday is the Spirit Board recording. So I don't know if Anubis is going to blog from that, or I don't know if blog is the word anymore. If he's going to make a video about his experience there, but maybe he might see that. Who knows? But there's a lot of stuff coming up, like with this month because of the Fear the Wolf stuff. So yeah, it's a lot of stuff on here. A lot of stuff.
Damn.
Well,
Well,
we got the Town That Dreaded Sundown coming up.
Oh, that's on fuck, what was it, Anthony?
14th at 7:30 p.m.
14th at 7:30 p.m. The Town That Dreaded Sundown.
yes.
So
Well, as for me in the entertainment headquarters, we are now at the beginning of Fear the Wolf, the month of the werewolf. And this was my first of my many specials throughout the course of October. We are in the spooky month, the month of Halloween. And so every year I'm going to do a themed month, and this is my second one. I love doing these, as I've said already in the comments, this whole conversation, this entire stream has been for me a 10 out of 10. So coming up tomorrow on the second Fear the Wolf, we are talking about Silver Bullet and Bad Moon, 2 other classic werewolf films with a lot of these amazing guests. And thank you very much. Thank you very much, Garrett. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I hope you've enjoyed tonight's conversation. Check in tomorrow for the second Fear the Wolf special, which is going to be, like I say, It's going to be Silver Bullet and Bad Moon. And
Never seen Bad Moon.
Ooh, you're in for a treat.
Yeah,
I think I did, but I don't remember it, to be honest.
it does something really interesting. Not going to spoil it for you, but it does something interesting with the character that's the werewolf that you don't see a lot of werewolf movies do.
Well, I've seen bits and pieces, and I kind of know the story about it. So I kind of know the gist of it. I never watched it all the way through, so but I know the gist of it.
Oh, he's not happy with you. He's not happy.
Oh, Jay.
When is he ever not happy with me when I'm saying I've never seen a movie?
That I think this is very true. Even though I've not seen Good Boy yet.
That's it.
Remind me, I gotta talk to you after this.
Technically, the original Good Boy was The Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah.
That is true.
Aw.
Yes. But like I say, that is my second special. And then throughout the course of October, we do have a jammed month. So tomorrow is the Silver Bullet in Bad Moon. Then on the 11th, we are talking the Howling franchise. That's right, the Howling franchise. Then on the 15th, we're doing the American Werewolf special, where we're going to be talking about American Werewolf in London and American Werewolf in Paris. That's coming to the channel. Then on the 18th, we'll have the Ginger Snaps special, where we're talking about 3 werewolf films in that franchise. Then on the 20th, we'll have Curse, Wolf, and Were, which Were I had never seen before, and then I watched it the other day. And, I was really surprised by it. And then finally, on the 25th of this month, we're talking about Werewolves 2024, Dog Soldiers, and Howl. In Late Phases. Late Phases is the 4th film in that franchise. But to Mr. Daniel Miller, the Professor, to Mr. Anthony Jordan, Mr. Jake Hall, and Mr. Tony of the Dead, thank you very much for joining me today and for being a part of this. It's been a fantastic conversation, great stream, loved every minute of it. For all me amazing, people that watched tonight, from Anubis to Gojira 851, Ulvin, Sister Sarah, and of course Garrett. Thank you for tuning in and watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Please like, share, and subscribe to all these another amazing content creators. But until next time, fear the wolf, people. Fear the wolf.
Watch out on a full moon.
We'll catch us all at the next one.